A few months ago, I bought this Engerup battery off of Amazon. It died shortly afterwards, and they were nice enough to send me this battery. These batteries look different and they perform different. They have the same amp hour rating. I tested that. However, when you put them in a tool, they have a different personality. This one seems like it doesn't care, but this one, if you run it in a high amp tool, it cuts out. The last time I ran the inertial dyno, I found out that the smaller batteries seem to have less torque than these two big batteries. So that got me wondering what a real Ryobi battery is like compared to the two cheap ones. Like I said, these last the same amount of time, but underneath high load, this one low voltages and wimps out quicker. To test these batteries, I'm going to use my new and improved, well not new, but improved inertial dyno. I've got bigger bearings. The bigger bearings allow me to run a bigger shaft, so I have a full 3/4 inch hex on this side. Before I had a 7/16 inch hex, and it just was not strong enough. So here's the first Engerup battery. And see, that one cut out. And there we go, up to full speed. Well, here we go. Engerup version number 2. Here we have the thin Ryobi battery. It also hit its current limitation. Next up we have the genuine, pretty much brand new Ryobi battery. That one also cut out. Have the old large Ryobi battery. Forgot I had this one here. This one's like 10 years old or so. Interesting results from the inertial dyno test. It seems like it's pretty much what I suspected between these two batteries, both the Engerups. This battery was the original one that I got, and it tended to cut out really quickly, and it took a long time for it to get out of current protect mode. This battery only shut down once. I did a couple of different runs with it, and it just kept going. It put out a lot of juice and just wouldn't quit. When you put a moderate load on these two batteries, they were very comparable as far as how much juice they had in them. And then the small battery put out less juice but didn't cut out that often. It cut out once at the beginning and then went the rest of the way. And then surprisingly, the big battery from Ryobi cut out several times. However, it turned back on a lot quicker than the other Engerup battery, or Energy Up. Interestingly, the old large Ryobi battery did not cut out, but it also put out significantly less torque, or less amps, than these other three. So, some interesting results. I'm going to take apart this battery, or these batteries, and take a look at the inside, see how much they've changed. So I've got all the batteries taken apart. Interestingly, all the circuit boards are different. Well, I guess that's not terribly surprising. This is the one that I fixed. You can see there's some pretty good corrosion on those cells. Could be that I should have cleaned the flux off a little bit better. This battery may have been left outside before I took it apart, so I think that's why it got corroded. But these welds came undone on this side, so I resoldered them last time. And these are blue cells, and let me get you the number in case somebody wants to look these up. That's the number that's on them. So whatever that number means, that's it. So this is the original Engerup battery I got. This one is the second Engerup. That is probably the best shot of the barcode that I'm going to get. .4 watt hours, 3.6 volts, purple cells. Let's see. Down the crack I see INR 18650P. So yeah, that's. But anyways, I don't see a name on them. A brand. This is the old Ryobi. I like this one. This is nice rubber for the shock absorption. Nice foam on the outside also for shock absorbent vibration and dampening. This one's also a little bit rusty, but this one's an old battery and it's probably been abused. I know it's been used in wet environments, and it may have. I know at least one of these went in a brook when we were tapping sap lines, so that could have been this battery. This is the small official Ryobi battery. Also a little corrosion on them. Pretty good solder on the terminals. Those are the battery name. Let's get that to focus. So green cells. You know, they left the leads kind of long on here when they soldered them on, but it doesn't look too crusty. This one, there's also a little bit of corrosion on the board, but like I said, this is also an old battery. And here is the new new Ryobi pack. This says Morita, lithium ion, don't use outside of a pack. Let's look at the heat sinks on them. This is the heat sink and power controller. This must be the circuit that turns on and off the power to the battery, whether for low voltage when it runs low or for overcurrent protection. So that's the official Ryobi. This is the other official Ryobi. Here is the old official Ryobi. That's a much bigger heatsink. Here we have the Engerup battery. This is the high current one, and you can't really see what they are, but there's two separate ICs in there, two probably MOSFETs, Q1 and Q2. And here's two. Wait, these ones are. Oh, these other ones are separate. Two separate ones also. They're just connected with a spreader bar. So. Those look pretty similar. The Ryobi's a little bit bigger of a heatsink than the Engerup. So. So I'm kind of curious to know which one of these you get more often. If you buy an Engerup battery, do you get this style or this style? So if you recently bought an Engerup battery, I'm curious to know if you got one with the black case without the rubber on it, or the darker or the lighter gray case, or dark gray but lighter than the black one, case with the rubber on the outside. I think they're switching to this one because the new pictures online look more like this battery than this one, but who knows. One thing I don't like about these batteries is these metal clips push right against the side of the battery. This one here's got two little marks there. I don't know if this cell and that cell are supposed to be connected together, but if they're not supposed to be and you do connect them together, it could get exciting. So here are the results from the inertial dyno, and they kind of match what my gut feelings were for using the batteries in the tools, live in the tools. The first Engerup battery I got is very sensitive to overcurrent. If you put a high load on the tool you're using, like if you're using a sawzall or circular saw, if you put a high load on like the blade pinches or binds at all, the battery cuts out. And then it takes quite a while for it to sort of reset so you can use it again. The second Engerup battery I got just never quits. It just pulls hard right from the, you can get it to overcurrent, but it takes a lot more. The blade really has to pinch up and stop to go into current protection mode. So that's a very nice battery to use in something like a cordless skill saw or a sawzall, something where you need a lot of power. I am a little bit concerned about its longevity, putting out that much current. I wonder if it's going to overdrain the cells or cause problems, because it does make the battery work a lot harder, having to put out that high amount of current and not going into sort of protect mode. You can see that the green is the new big Ryobi one that I got. That one is better or less sensitive than the Engerup, the first Engerup battery I got. It does cut out, and after it cuts out, it recovers a lot quicker. When I ran these tests on the inertial dyno, after it cut out, I tried to get the drill to start up as quickly as I could again. And these were the results from, the Engerup battery took about twice as long to recover as the Ryobi one did. You can see the small Ryobi battery did also cut out, but it only cut out once and then took off. And you can also see that the old Ryobi battery had significantly less current output. It put out a lot less torque than the other batteries. So that's kind of interesting. Personality of the tool really changes depending on what kind of battery you have in it. You can say, oh well, it cuts out and it doesn't run and something or other, and it's all due to the electronics in the battery itself, because that's one thing that Ryobi does differently than many of the other manufacturers. Is some of them have sort of the current protection and overload circuit built into the tool, and Ryobi has that all built into the battery, which is why you can use the new lithium batteries. Well, I say new, but newer lithium batteries in the old tools, like the old tools that were designed for NiCad batteries. The lithium ones will still fit, and that's because all the electronics and undercurrent protection and everything is built into the battery, which makes things nice as far as tool compatibility goes, but it does make the batteries a little bit more complicated. And it also makes the batteries, each have their own different personality, apart from just what's in the cells. Because I did a slow discharge test or moderate discharge test, and both the Engerup batteries were pretty similar, and the big Ryobi did fine. It didn't last as long as those other two, but it was definitely longer than the small Ryobi. And I have not tested the new big Ryobi I got. I can do that, but it's a bit tedious to do. So if people are interested in seeing the current discharge test, I can run that on the new big Ryobi battery I got. I am also kind of curious. I probably will run that. It'll be a separate video though, because I remember when I was running the discharge test, they had different shutdown voltages. When the voltage drops below a certain level for the lithium batteries, the controller board, shuts off the output so that you don't drain the cells too low. And if I remember right, the first Engerup battery I got shut off a lot sooner than the second one. And I'm kind of curious what that voltage is for the first Engerup battery, the big Ryobi battery, and the second Engerup battery. So anyways, those are my results from the inertial dyno and the take apart. So hopefully this helps somebody out. I hope you liked this video. If you did, I'd hope you'd consider subscribing. I've got a virtually endless supply of projects I could make videos about. If there's something I can do better, or if there's a type of video you'd like to see more of, leave a comment down below,